So we out to eat, and these people have repositioned themselves to stare at me and Nautica. They have repositioned themselves. These people right here, and now he's throwing up a middle finger at me. Yeah, now because he's staring at me the whole time. Rude ass.
A lot of y'all have experienced racism, but most of y'all haven't experienced level 9 advanced racism. I'm in a club in Italy walking inside of an elevator. As soon as I step inside, this promoter, she was a woman, puts her full palm on my chest and stiff arms my black ass outside that elevator. And I'm a pretty big guy. You know how much force she had to put in that bitch to throw me out of the elevator? I'm looking inside the elevator and she has the biggest customer service ass smile I've ever seen in my life. Like she was doing my ass a favor. A thing that a lot of people don't realize is that Africans in most European countries are treated like shit. But the thing that she didn't realize was, although I am African, I'm also American. So I did what any American would do and I put my foot on the elevator, opened that bitch up, and walk right in front of her. Everyone then begins to look up at me like, this monkey's bigger than I thought. She immediately begins to look down, continuing her customer service smile, and I begin to cuss her out. And I'm talking really cuss her out, like saying shit I ain't never said before. Like, do you know where I'm from? Did you put your hands on me? As soon as they heard that accent, that American accent, shit flips. Her coworker loses his shit. Hey, what floor did you want to go to? I said, hey, shut up your mouth. I'm not speaking to you right now. Push 3. And all of a sudden, this random man steps from the crowd and says, that is not us. That is not Italia. Everybody started talking about, that's not Italia. That's not Italia. That's not Italia. Ooh, that shit had me hyped. I felt like Rosa Parks in that bitch.
Now, before we get into this next clip, it's quite interesting. You hear different things about how Italians are towards black folks in particular and racism and within the country and here in the States. Using words, what is it, mullions or moolies and stuff like that. And I think that that's something out of the northeastern part, particularly I think New York and maybe Jersey area, where obviously there's a high population of Italian Americans there as well. But we find it interesting as far as that whole Italian part, because Italians are, in the eyes of the traditional white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, Italians are looked at as ninjas, right? Just like they try to say the Irish are still considered ninjas a lot of times, especially, what is it, the Southern Italians and the Sicilians? Hey, I'm just saying. And if you go back through history and you look at allegedly some of the first people in Italy, or the founders, were people of darker complexion and or Africans. But for this to be going on, I find it to be quite interesting, man. But we got a brother here who's gonna share his opinion and his experience. So let's get into that. Let's go.
Fuck is the infatuation with Europe and black people? Why are you going there? And then surprised they're racist. That's where the racists are made. That's racism factory. They're the OG colonists. This is where the pilgrims came from. When you're seeing them fucking powder hat, buckle shoe, baseball pants wearing motherfuckers laying on your land, that's where they came from. That's where the ideology was birthed. They don't like you. They're racist. They see you as less than human. You going to the motherland? The fatherland? I think y'all want to be discriminated against for content. I think you want to be called a slur for content. Because at this point, I'm a black American. I don't need to go to Italy to know that Italians are racist. They're racist here in America. They don't like you, Mullion. What is what is this infatuation with Italy? Like, even rappers, they name themselves after like Italian gangsters that would call them the N-word at the drop of a hat. They're not trying to do business with you. They'll use you for sure. What you want, a margarita pizza? What you want, Italian food? It's dough, cheese, and red sauce. Maybe some sausage and peppers. Throw that in there. Done. Why do you want to go to Europe as a black person in general? If you're from Africa, y'all use powder wigs in your high court. You're still living in 1700s. Like, what the fuck? At this point, what the fuck is not clicking? Are your parents not teaching you? Have you not experienced enough racism in your natural walk in life, wherever the fuck you from, to know that if you go to the place where these people originate from, they're gonna eat 10x racism. 10x racism on steroids.
Now, I know those were all out of line there, so editor, please arrange them in the proper format. You know, that second clip is probably gonna be the last clip. But he's got some points though. When you think about it, Christopher Columbus was Italian, right? Cristobal Colombo, whatever you want to call him. You know, he was Italian. And he was the one, allegedly, I know there were people that came before him, but he was allegedly the one who kicked all this off back in 1492, going to, was it Queen Ferdinand and, or whatever it was over there in Spain, and got the funding to go to the Caribbean and the States, allegedly. So this thing goes deep, man. This thing really goes deep. In search of India, right? You go in a place, a lot of times when they say this, right? A lot of folks go to these places or they want to visit. I've never been to Italy. I plan on going. And I know, Jared, you're being a hypocrite. Hey, I'm gonna go to see for myself some of the beauty that Italy does have, even though so many of them fled Italy because they were over there starving, trying to find a better way of life here in the States. But it's interesting. It's very interesting. It goes back to a video that I did just yesterday. I haven't posted it yet, about a lot of the opportunities that have come about because Italians weren't coming here in droves like the British were way back when. The British and other parts of Western Europe that were coming in. Nah, the Italians weren't coming in like that early on, but a lot of these things were put in place. The infrastructure was built before they actually started coming here. As far as America goes. And if they did come here, they changed their names like a lot of Europeans do to hide who they are. They'll change their last name to make it sound more British or Anglo-Saxon, for lack of a better term, right? Just to be down. So black folks, you just have to come to terms with racism does exist. Black folks are looked at the same throughout the world. That's just how it is. But what we must remember is that this is a small time in history. Right? This is a small point in history where everything is connected, right? Everything is connected. Technology, people see the media plays a big part in things. And obviously slavery has been around for millennia, and black folks predominantly have been the ones used as the labor and workforce all throughout the world, right? But they've never invaded or conquered or forced their language upon anyone. Strangely enough, but that's another conversation in itself, guys. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about these videos though. Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next videos. It's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. It's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm the best. Let's run it up to 1 million. Quit playing with me. Peace.